Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are after market close on Friday, September 8th. We're going to take a look at Palantir today. So we have obviously a chart for Palantir here. We'll zoom in to the intraday chart in a moment to see how the levels are holding up. And then we will also take a look at the think or swim study before we call it a video. So we have this uptrend that we're tracking that Palantir lost throughout the week this week, but it's kind of I'm questioning whether it's going to make a motion back toward it or not. It's not unheard of or uncommon for a trend line to be put in, upward or downward, and it to be briefly lost and then regained, or regained in just some other slightly variance of the shape. So, that could mean maybe it's not quite there, but maybe it's going to encompass these. I don't know that we'd situate it this far over, but maybe we'll have to see. But for the time being, we'll leave it here and kind of see how it's going to play out in the coming days and weeks. Now, if we zoom in to see how these levels are holding, as it's moving relatively sideways, we zoom back here a few days and we see a push off of this 1603 in the pre-market, came down right through a level, caught and sort of stuck itself to 1505 resistance, and then coming in the next day trying to flip that to support and confirming that the following day support, and then making a new run at 1544, that one that it skipped in the days prior. Couldn't quite hold it, made another attempt the next day, also couldn't hold it, which sort of resulted in a sell-off here. Tested all the way down to 1441, came up, regained that 1505 level, and then today making an attempt back at that 1544 right out of the gate, coming in hot, but could not hold it, and then just kind of batted itself between this 1544 and 1505 for the rest of the day. So while there are a lot of intraday levels being developed on any particular day or even over the course of a couple of days, I don't think that it's sort of a measure that we should take in order to update the daily chart and put a bunch of additional levels, for example, in between this 1544 and 1505. I'm happy with generally how it's playing out, and if I were to play this intraday, I would just put in some additional levels, like you could see this level here obviously playing a role, this level here playing a role, this level here playing a role. So I would just put those in during the day, and then any trend lines, right, like a down trend line here throughout the day after that push at open. So we flip over to think or swim, make sure that we're on the daily, Palantir. Okay, so we kicked out of the upper bound of the channel several days ago now, drew all the way down to the lower bound of the channel, and then sort of got caught in a bit of a downtrend for a while, pressed ourselves back up, tested that mid-range of the channel, which is that bright blue line in the middle, and now have just sort of stuck ourselves there. So the question becomes, what is going to become of the price action as it pertains to this mid-range of the channel? Is it going to be able to regain support over it and then maybe eventually push toward the upper bound of the channel, which still is situated over 17? If my eyes aren't deceiving me there, it's a little bit hard to see. So that would be quite a stretch. Or is it going to get trapped underneath and maybe come down and retest this lower mid-range, mid-14s, or even the lower bound of the channel that's situated mid-13s. Now, the other thing that's happening here is we had a large pickup in bearish momentum that has significantly died down to it's almost imperceivable at the moment. And the last 4 days, the TTM squeeze indicator has been triggering. So is it going to fire in the days ahead? And if so, is it going to reemerge with bearish pressure, or is it going to flip that dying bearish pressure into a bullish move and fire and make a big move? There's also, of course, the other possibility of it just being a misindication. Let's see if we have any examples of that here. We have several days of triggering here and then 1 day of firing, and then another trigger, and then another fire, and then eventually it sort of made a move. So, that might not have been a total false indicator, but it was a little herky-jerky. A bunch of fire or triggering here, and then when it fired, it made a good move. So, and then it made another good move to the upside. So, sort of a fake out move, and then looks like a much bigger move, though I'm not calculating it. It certainly resulted in a much bigger move longer term. So there might be something sort of brewing there with that TTM squeeze indicator in trigger mode at the moment. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and see how things pan out. All right, folks, I hope you had a good trading week and that you enjoy the weekend. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.